confuse everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vernon, John Vernon McCandlish. And Dorothy Louise McCandlish.
And this is graduation, right? Granddaddy's high school graduation, right?
Yes, Now this was Meg when she was a baby.
That was her first Christmas. I made Christmas cards out of those.
And I think that the baby looks exactly like that.
I do.
Let me see. She does. Oh my
The baby
gosh.
Maggie looks like Meg did when Meg was
Oh
little.
my gosh. That.
Show it for the camera. Oh yeah.
Has Meg seen it? Meg, you'll have to come see this picture.
This picture
This was-
was taken
Well, no, not
shortly.
That's
Well, you can.
Oh yes. That was my first, the first Christmas card. Your
This
your
picture
first
is
Christmas.
Aunt Dorothy's mother, and it was taken
You see the
right
resemblance, or
shortly
do you not
after
think so?
your father
I
died.
do
right?
see the lower part of the face.
And the
sometimes.
I got
hairstyle
eyes,
was
too.
in style then.
And as long as
I
it says
noticed-
record up there,
I
it's
notice
recording.
I have hair.
Yeah, there is. But you were about.
6 months old.
Where is
Well,
she?
I probably took that picture in November because I made it into a Christmas card.
Where is she?
She's
anyway?
laying
She's
down in
in
here.
the, yeah, let's leave her alone for a few minutes because I want to see if she'll take a nap.
Is she in the living room or the bedroom?
She's in the living room. I think she's a little overstimulated.
And this picture was Granddaddy's high school graduation.
Oops.
Meg, I had that
All
rat.
the
Did you
things
find
that we
it?
talked
No,
about.
absolutely.
It's right there in the bathroom.
this
It's
one.
real easy to put up.
Man, I'm
I
not
put it
doing
down
this
there
too
by
well.
the
I hope you don't
fireplace.
mind.
That's okay. You gotta be better than Daryl.
No, not
As long as you
necessarily.
get more than this of my
Well,
face.
after I drop it down, after you drop the picture down, I get your chest. So. Now which?
Okay, what were you gonna say about this one?
That's the earliest picture that we have of either one of us that I know of.
And this is the same picture that I have at my house. That's hanging in my living room.
I like that picture.
Do you have a picture of Vernon before you were born?
I don't think so.
How many years older is Vernon?
A year and a half.
Hmm.
He was born the 1st of June, and I was born the 11th of January, so that means it's almost exactly a year and a half.
Which school were you teaching at for this one?
I don't know.
Okay, we don't know about this one, but it says Dorothy, school teacher.
It's a beautiful picture.
And she looks an awful lot like Aunt Dorothy.
And did you,
What happened to the picture that was in there? Oh, no, you got it.
this picture was taken when I was in the 8th grade.
Is that Vernon with you?
Yeah, that's Vernon. See, he had come home, or he'd come back to Nebraska, Omaha. He was living with Uncle Fred and Aunt Estelle by that time,
Where were they?
in York, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
That's where my family's from.
And
That's where Daryl's family
Yeah.
he had come back for vacation or something, Easter maybe, because I'm pretty sure that was my Easter outfit. That was a corded silk, and those little flowers were appliqued on.
What color was it? Blue?
No, I think it was kind of a mixture. And most of the clothes that Aunt Ella bought for me were red, because I had brown eyes and dark hair, and I wore red. But when I started choosing clothes for myself, I chose blue, and blue goes much better with my skin than red does. And one time when she was visiting, she said, "You know, I never realized you looked so good in blue." And I said, "Well, I guess maybe my skin has changed."
Just to be nice to her.
And did you get this?
No.
That's funny that all our families are from New
You,
York.
they got the, yeah.
Because Daryl's family,
Well,
generation and generation and generation was in the
Isn't
same
that
place,
wild?
York.
This
York,
was taken
York, every generation.
just after World War II started, when Vernon was called up.
I just threw the combos were sitting up in the middle here.
and the middle one is Bill,
Mhm.
which I think needs to be Ted because it doesn't. That's one that I don't see Bill as.
I see his eyes. But I think he looks a lot like grandmother in that picture. I mean, we know he looks like her, but that picture particularly.
Maxine Page.
Yeah, well, she says, you're not talking
Oh,
about
good.
me,
Do you want
are
to do this
you?"
for a minute?
No, I'm gonna
Your
let her
arm gets
just do that.
tired.
She'll settle herself down. I think she'll do better for it.
Now, was this all the stuff that needed explanation, or was there
Oh,
other
no,
stuff?
there's a whole bunch of other stuff. These are just the pictures.
Okay.
Do you want me to
'Cause
stop for a
I
while?
thought
Or?
everybody would enjoy these pictures. Especially these. Bill. Well, Aunt Ann and Uncle Ralph are. Well, they had bought a brand new convertible Buick, I think it was, or some car. Anyway, they drove up in front of the house on Adams and took a look at it, and then they went off someplace and left Bill behind, because they were going like to Starlight or something. Well, he hadn't had a real good chance to look at that car, and he was feeling kind of sad. And Vernon had left the keys of his own car behind. And so Bill decided he was going to go up to the corner in the car. Now, this was before he had a license or anything. He was maybe 11, 12 years old. He was going just up to the corner and get an ice cream cone and come back. Well, when he got up to the ice cream cone place, there was this girl he knew. So he decided to take her for a ride.
Now he's 11 or 12 years old.
Yes. Well, maybe 14 or 15. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little. Anyway, he didn't have a driver's license.
Yes.
That's the big point. So was going to take her for a ride, and he goes down some street and is going to make a U-turn because it's a dead-end street, and he winds up in somebody's yard, and they call the police, and the police come and get him. And see, Vernon and Marie are not home because they've gone out with Uncle Ralph and Aunt Ann. So when they get home, here's this phone call to your granddad that Bill is at the police station. And I may not have all the details right, but that's what I mean when I say he just did
Yeah.
a little something wrong,
Yeah.
but it winds up real bad.
Oh.
I would have gotten along a lot better with the McCandlishes than he ever did.
Yep, gotcha.
And Uncle Fred and Aunt Estelle expected an awful lot of him. See, he was a teenager, and they always called him son and everything, but they didn't treat him like a son.
Did they have other children?
No,
Oh.
they adopted Jan quite a few years later. And I don't know, for instance, when Vernon, my brother, was going to go away to college, he had enough money to go 1 year to Texas A&M. And then they moved to Mississippi. And so he wanted and they wanted him to go on to school. So they loaned him the money to go to school. And to insure that loan, they took out an insurance policy on him. But he had to pay the premiums. That was added to the loan. And you know, and then they hounded him after he was through school to pay that loan back. And that was in the middle of the Depression, when it was so hard to get a job. And that's what I mean when I say they didn't treat him like a son. Now, I was in the same position. I didn't have money to go to school, but you know, you could always, in a depression, you could always get a job as in somebody's house, to clean their house. And I got a job, I worked for $5 a week. And then when I went to college, I had a job in the dormitory checking people in and out, because in those days you had to sign in and out. And I had a job at one of the professors' houses where I prepared the lunch, and I went there at noon and prepared the dinner. We ate dinner at noon in those days. And washed up the dishes and everything. And then I went to my afternoon classes, and I came back and prepared the evening meal and did the dishes. And then I went back to the dorm and worked there to check people in and out. And on Saturdays, I cleaned one of the professors' houses for spending money. And I babysat occasionally for money.
When do you have time to study?
Yeah.
Well, I ran across my grades, and they weren't all that good, mostly medium.
You didn't bring that paper with your
I
grades?
didn't. That goes in the trash.
No.
But no, I didn't have that with the things. But it was easier for me. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I had enough money to go 1 year to college. And the second year, I went on a loan from the PEO. You know what that is?
No.
It's the PEO is a women's educational organization. The PEO is secret,
Mm.
and they have scholarships for women.
Mm.
And so the third year, that was the second year. Then I taught school and saved some money, and I also gave money to Vernon. I gave him $25 a month, and that was his senior year in college. That's how he was able to get through the senior year. And I was earning 85, and I gave him 25. And then get through the senior year. And I was earning 85, and I gave him 25. And then, I don't know, I'm getting kind of mixed up in my story here. I taught school again, and went to summer school to finish up my fourth year of college.
Now, did you have to have 4 years of college to teach, or was that for the degree you just wanted, or?
You could teach a one-room country school right out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first job I had, but it was the end of 2 years. I did get mixed up. I went 2 years, and I taught that country school, and then I went back for a third year on the PEO loan. And then the last, I kept on teaching, but I went to summer school
Mm-hmm.
until I had enough credits to graduate.
Mm-hmm. What was your degree? I mean, I know you guys know it.
History.
It was history.
And
You know, I don't think, I don't have what your degree was in here.
education, Bachelor of Education,
BS,
BA.
BA, BA in education.
Yeah. They called it AB in those days.
No, I know you guys know this, but I don't. What happened to your parents?
My father had meningitis,
Oh.
and my mother had a ruptured appendix.
How old were you when they died?
My father died in 1921. I was 10. And my mother died a year and a half later, so I would be 1 and a half. I was just barely 10, because he died the latter part of January, and I was 10 on the 11th of January. My date is 1/11/11.
Isn't
You
that
can always
wild?
remember.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is.
Actually, we should have known that. When I Can I give my,
Compare your picture to their snapshot. To McCandlish pictures.
And this is a picture of Aunt Anne when she was a girl. And look at the doll.
Aunt Anne Timberlake.
Yes. It's written on the back. I wrote on the back. And
Anna, or her real name was Anna?
yes,
Anna Moretta McCandlish. Aunt Anne Timberlake.
Marietta.
Marietta.
Now these are cousins. I thought I had written it on here. Oh yeah, here they are. Cousin Mary and Belden Williams. Cousin Mary was cousin of R.C. McCandlish. And these two pictures are of those people that,
Cousins to Robert Clowen.
that would be cousins of her father, would be my grandfather. And I wonder, this is another one of those pictures of my mother.
This one's a cousin too?
Yes, those are both the same people.
Oh, okay, same lady.
See, that's another
That's
picture.
another picture of your mom.
And,
Oh, it says Mabel under it.
yeah,
How do you spell Mabel?
Mabel.
Okay.
Her name was Florence Mabel, but they called her Mabel. And I don't know what this came from. This is a little book of poems that this woman wrote, and I don't know what connection it has with the family.
Miss Laura Winkler. Burlington, Iowa, 1891.
Now it says on the back what this is.
Fanny McCandlish? No, what's that mean?
Let me look at it again.
Somebody's first wife.
Fanny McCandlish, Nevin's first wife, sister to Mrs. Ezra Millard, Mrs. Ezra Millard, Nebraska. Millard, Omaha.
Who is the guy? Well, is she the relative or is it her husband? Or is she
Well, let me
she's
see.
not a direct ancestor, she's a sibling.
No, her
of-
name is Fanny McCandlish,
Is that her maiden name
Oh.
or her married name?
Nevin's wife, first wife. No, she wouldn't be a McCandlish then, would she?
Was Nevin a McCandlish?
Nevin was a McCandlish.
Who is he? I don't remember that.
My grandfather's, well, his name was either Nevin William McCandlish or William Nevin McCandlish. And he was the one, he was the one that had homesteaded a lot of land out in Nebraska. And he had a great, huge ranch. And he had to break it up. And he sold it. All the good spots where there were water had been homesteaded by farmers. And he sold the whole bit to some Easterners who thought they were getting the whole thing. And they found out they were only getting part of it. And they sued him. And he had to return the money or something. It's written in here.
Oh
in
my
the
gosh.
write-up. So he went to California and he changed his name. If it had been William, he changed it to Nevin. Or if it had been Nevin, he changed it to William. He just went by a different name.
But
And-
he was a sibling to your great grandfather?
Yes. Now here's something I think is interesting, but I have no idea what it is.
In memory of Caroline Kelman. Died June 9, 1890. Omaha, Nebraska.
Now, this is this Nevin we were talking about. I don't have that written on there.
Son of William McCandlish, brother of R.C.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, his name's on the bottom.
Oh, is it?
What does it say?